let's talk about perforated window films first. So we know that we have our trim film, 2C material we've sold for a lot of years. We've sold a 60-40 pattern. So that means 60% of it's vinyl, 40% of it's the holes. And we chose that size because, number one, it's the most popular size out there, that particular pattern, the 60-40. And it's also a good mix of what people might use for a vehicle graphic and what people might use for an office window. Now, the legal limit in most states is 50-50. So that's we've expanded our offering as far as the sizes that we're offering the rolls in. So we've for years just sold a 54-inch by 50-yard roll, and now we're offering a 42-inch, a 54-inch, and a 60-inch on that. And the reason for that is some windows are narrower and people don't need to have a 54-inch wide material, and obviously some windows are wider, and so they needs to have something bigger than 54 inches on it.
So 42, 54,
and 60.
60.
So part of the reason for that is when somebody's designing graphics for window films, it doesn't look good to have a splice, right? Or a seam in a perforated window film. You're always going to pick it up. You can't do it where it's not going to be visible to you when you do it. So if you do happen to have a window and the 60-inch doesn't cover everything that you need it to cover, then I always recommend people will leave a space at the top and the bottom, or on the sides, just to so you got that continuity and you're not trying to seam it. But if somebody insists, I've got this great big window and yes, it's going to have to be paneled, then we do it with a butt splice. We don't recommend overlapping it. That just makes it even worse on there too. The other question that comes up a lot with customers is, do I laminate it or do I not laminate it? And we would always say on a vehicle, you always want to laminate it, because part of that visibility that you're getting through there, if it gets dirt in the holes, if it rains and the water pools in the holes, then you're not going to be able to see through it, which is the purpose for having perforated window film, is to look through it. So always on a vehicle, and we recommend using the optically clear laminate on there. Otherwise, the adhesive makes it look mottled and you can't see through it. So our go-to film is the Oracal 290 GF optically clear window film. Avery also has the DOL 1360. It works okay. And then the 3M has the 8914, which is a good film for optically clear as well. But our go-to for our house brand is the Oracal 290 GF on it. So office windows, exterior buildings, we normally say if you want to try to extend the life of it beyond, it's 2 years, so we need to set customers' expectations. Their perspective is perforated window film is usually shorter term. It's not designed to last forever like regular vinyl. It has 60% of the vinyl to hold it to the surface versus full coverage by the vinyl. So there's not as much adhesive on there, so it's a shorter term product. But if you want to try to extend the life of it, if it's going to be an area catching a lot of sun, then yeah, laminate it. Go from there. Use edge seal tape, which is actually just a 1/2 inch piece of optically clear laminate to go around the edge. Apply it so it's 1/4 inch from the edge of the rubber seal around a window, and then use the edge seal tape to go halfway on the vinyl and halfway onto the clear edge of the window going around it, and that'll help extend the life of it as well. Was something else with perforated window film. Okay, so we did also offer this year, and this is all in stock, by the way, the 42, the 54, and the 60. So we all have those 3 sizes in stock, and we're going to offer those 3 sizes in graphics as well. So you don't have to specify it. We just know that, hey, if it's a wider panel, they're going to use the 60-inch wide material for that. But one that we've recently offered in our house brand as well is we're offering a 70-30 pattern in there. So it's a smaller diameter hole. It is not for vehicles. This one would be used for office fronts, so there's more visibility to the graphics as somebody's looking at it, because there's more surface area of the vinyl, so you get more detail. The graphics are more vibrant. The trade-off to that is it's not quite as visible looking out So if you want to see out more than you want to see the graphics on the outside, stick with the 60/40. But 70/30 is very popular, and this one is only available in 54 by 50 yard rolls. And this one is the same price as our 60/40, and we are offering this in graphics as well. So a material called Contravision, it's a brand of material, and they offer different perforated window patterns for exterior, just like that we've talked about here. But the ones that we're interested in is a 60/40 pattern and also the 70/30, and it is in for a second surface application. So this material starts out clear, and so to be able to print it and have it visible for people is what you're doing is you're printing the image in reverse, then you're flood coating it with a layer of white, and then you're flood coating it with a layer of black, and it's applied to the inside of the glass, but you're looking through the glass for the application. So there's two reasons to do this. Number one is that if you're in an area where vandalism is a big deal, then this is applied to the inside of the glass and it doesn't get vandalized because people can't pick at it or get to it or spray paint it or whatever. The second reason that people do this or like this product is in some cities they have a sign code that says, hey, if perforated window film stuck to the outside of the window, that's part of your signage. And so there's only a certain percent based on the square foot of your building that you can have as far as graphics or signage goes. So when it's on the inside of the glass, it doesn't count toward that. And so they can put it on the inside of the glass, and that doesn't take away from the amount of signage that they can have on their building. Window films, you always want to apply dry because the air gets out really easy out of the holes, so it's an easy apply. When you apply it, you don't want to apply it wet, even when it has laminate on it, because if you apply it wet and it's got those holes, that water just pools behind there and it gets to be a mess. Another side note is that when you do laminate it with that optically clear laminate, it is next to impossible to apply that without getting some scuffing or scratching on that optically clear laminate. And you just need to make your customers aware of that up front, that hey, this is when you go to apply it, even using a felt edge squeegee or a felt squeegee to start with, that you're going to encounter that scuffing, on the laminate. But after it's out in the sun, after it heats up, that'll work its way out. If you want to speed it up using a heat gun, then that'll help get rid of the scuffing that's on there. Doesn't mean it's bad, it's just the nature of the beast with an optically clear laminate to it. So we'll go apply some here in just a minute, but any questions? I guess the other thing that I pointed out in the other group that I forgot to mention here is perforated window film is only for exterior windows. You don't want to apply it on interior windows in a building because you're not going to be able to view it. You'll be able to look right through it. The image is washed out. You can't see anything on it. So it's perforated window film is just for exterior windows. We have the 3M frosted and dusted crystals. The 3M dusted crystal simulates a light chemically etched glass, very subtle on there, not a lot of texture, anything to it. The 3M frosted crystal simulates a deep sandblast etch on glass, and it has the crystal kind of looks to it that are there, and just a nice look to it. And our trend film, which we've been our third best-selling cut graphic for about 25 years, is halfway in between. The other film that we started offering several years back is the German film called Aslan, and it's a great product. Aslan is designed to be printed, so you can print it using solvent, UV, eco-solvent, latex. It's good for all the different venues as far as printability goes. The other nice thing about this film is it's a dry apply and it's repositionable. So it has a low initial tack to it. You can lift it back up and reposition it. Really, to my knowledge, there's not another film out there that you can do that with. There's some other dry apply films, but none that you can easily lift right back up and reapply to it. It is a calendared film, and they're saying, the conditions in Central Europe, if it's applied vertically, it has a 7-year outdoor life. So it's a very, very great film. We love it. Price point wise, it's kind of positioned in between our trend film etch look and the 3M but again, it's designed to be printable. It's dry apply. It has a lot of really neat features to it that we'll look at here too. The 3M materials are trend film. They can be printed, but it's a do it at your own risk sort of thing. You need to test it for printability, see how it works, and what will apply to it, you know, what the application is going to be. So none of them are like, yeah, just use this printer and these settings and it's going to work great, versus the Aslan, it's designed to be printed on there. Although a lot of our customers, just because the ease of application, they will not print it. They'll just use it to cover conference room windows or do different designs. The downside of this one, the Aslan material, because of its low initial tack, you can't cut super fine elements of a graphic or super small copy. So you can do a background piece and reverse out the copy and things on it, but if you're cutting really fine elements on it, when you have your application tape and you go to lift the application tape off, it's going to want to lift those very detailed elements.